Hey everybody, Gorgie here. Good morning, good evening, good night to all those around the world. So today in this video, I just again wanted to discuss informally and casually, not anything formal or very planned out as it is, or as most people who make a video about something that they want to talk about, a focused subject or a very particular subject that they found funny of, or if they've really found interesting or have been inspired with. At times, we're asked to go about planning out our videos, replanning formally with our video. The importance of making our videos, the videos that we love to make, so that way we can really get a lot of understanding, and as a way to reach out to the very people that we want to be able to get in contact with, the people that we want to be able to follow, and the things that we want to also really do down the road in our future goals that we want to have to be able to obtain to. So for example, in getting back to the very focus of not just making the video functionally of itself, but also want to focus on my attention to the walking ability, the confident walking ability. So our walk that we perform every day, and how you recognize your walk every day, and the many things that people notice, that things that we really are commenting on is our posture, is how we stand. And this applies to both men, women, kids too. I mean, this is a great learning habit for the kids that want to really learn. And with kids, especially with the kids, parents, okay, and mother and father, or any guardian, uncles, aunts, set an example for your kids. Set an example for them, because your kids know what you're doing. Your kids pick up what you do and how you perform every day. And not my understanding from my experience of what I've went through growing up as a foreign-born child, born in the Republic of Georgia, to be specific here, the country Georgia. So getting back into the transitions of growing up on the state side from Georgia. So basically, from a young kid, I did not have a parent figure till I actually got over to the state side and have seen the attitudes, the behavior, the dynamics of the parent and child relationship and how they grow about. Basically, what I'm talking about is the foundations to how we have to really grow ourselves up and start fundamentally from the confines of our home, learning the real things of our likes and dislikes in our homes, having that commentary, funny moments, all that type of stuff. Yes, it's great, it's fun, it's all fairy tale, believe it or not, nonsense at times, because hey, that's what we've been brought up as. The preconditioning status, the preconditioning notice. But getting back into the detail on our confident walking capability, and the very many people that we can really look up to are the successful people. And the successful people, at times, we don't even actually take the time to dive into and to pay attention to. How far they've gotten to success, how far they've gotten to perseverance in persevering their obstacles. For example, love him or hate him, again, I mentioned his name because he's a great example to emulate. Donald Trump, the current president of the United States. He drew a lot of people all across the country through the 2016 candidate election. He brought an example because he proved himself to be what is called, and I labeled him as a high performance individual, because from a businessman to a running an empire, now the president of the United States, what he exactly is showing is the level of energy that the country wants to go to, the direction. He wants to take the direction of the country to a more higher performance based, with level of energy where people are more respectful, kindful, but also in getting back into the money aspects. He wants to put money in our pockets. He wants to be able to help us understand and to be more peaceful and prosperous. Now, minus the divisiveness and the opinion and all the people have in the political realm, world-based areas, you can call it what it is. You can call it and label what he is and what I am, of course, but in all aspects, we really gotta reflect ourselves and follow through with our behaviors, our attitudes, our actions, which result to how we walk every day. Whether if we're walking sluggishly or if we're going to be open-minded, positive, smiling, things where situations where we can force ourselves to smile, we can still stay happy, but again, being thankful for what we have. So the walking capability that we can really carry ourselves into is really reflective of how we act and behave, how we talk amongst each other as brothers and sisters, family members, co-workers in a co-work job site, business people. And again, I go back to the business people who we can really look up to. And again, very successful business people that I pay attention to through my YouTube searches and online searches. Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, investor, Jeff Bezos, Mark Cuban, great successful businessman, Mark Cuban, and another gentleman by the name of Lewis House, who is a self-development audio interviewer, and of any other business people you can really think of. Is we want to try to find better ways to emulate them, to get their knowledge, their applied knowledge on how they went about to being successful. The very things that we can really think about down the road. And of course, it's hard to think about it. It's hard to do the smallest things. But remember, it's the smallest things that can get us to what we want out of life more than what we're actually defined as. Let's for example, the very work that we do for a living. Our work currently, yes, it defines us, but also that's not something that we want to define ourselves with. We don't want to have our work that we do for 20 to 30 years in a career define ourselves as people, but also we want to define ourselves as better human beings, to victorious people who can do more than what we can be capable of. So in times of the economic success and the many previous economic downturns, we really want to be also optimistic, but also not get complacent. And through that can really be reflective upon the level of energy we take one another and how we carry ourselves as people who we walk in public, carrying ourselves that meaningful walk, that purpose, that smiling also, by smiling and showing that good posture, saying hi to the people, saying hi to your neighbors. And again, that's not really taken upon anymore. We're not saying hi to our neighbors anymore. Our foundations of common sense and decency have gone away from our very influences in the secularized and polarized society that we've been really brought up as. Because one of the reasons, we're so tempted with our devices that we use every day. That's one of the things that ruins our self-esteem. Yes, it can help us gain the high self-esteem and the instant gratification, but yet that again ruins the purpose of what we want to be as people. What we want to be when we carry ourselves to a purposeful person, showing respect to our supervisors and to those who have seniority above us, the ones that we can respect and learn from. They can lead by example, but also we can really dive in, show some humble and respectful manner to them and ask them for knowledge, ask them for guidance and help in times of, yes, the rough and tumble moments, but also the very successful moments, in the very fashionable actions, well, not fashionable to put it, but also the very basic actions that we can put at. For example, one of the businesses that I know of is the team one of the football teams. Okay, for example, give you a football team like the Washington Redskins or the Patriots. Okay, Patriots is a great football team to give an example of how each of those players carry themselves, because those players are reflective to their previous games that they've won, their 6 to 7 time Super Bowl championship that they've earned, because it really also reflected and have influenced from the coach, Coach Belichick, who led the team to the 6 to 7 Super Bowl championships. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not right, that's totally fine. As many of those who like to be fact checkers. But anyway, but getting back into that focus of just, staying up-minded, staying optimistic about yourself, carrying that level of energy, whatever it takes for you to carry that level of energy to, yes, if it's going to take you to work 3 jobs to feed you and your family's mouths, do it. Take that level of energy. Take that action to do it. Because right now, very many people today, and of course, in a very unsatisfied fault system that we're with, very many people are applying on very subsidized services that yes, it's important to have and be on it, but also you can still be capable and able-bodied to work the jobs that you want, gain that benefit and the optimism to go more than where you're capable of. Didn't happen to be lazy and sluggish and pretend that you're going to get that handout of the subsidized housing that people live on, and which take advantage of. And I'm not for that. I'm for that. Excuse me. I am for that, to correct that, but I'm not for those who take advantage of the system. I'm not for those who don't follow the rules. We have to do what's right at times. But again, in times of doing what's right and doing what's wrong, it's okay to bend the rules at times. We don't have to beat ourselves up on that. So getting back into the system and the concept in the walking ability, carrying that level of energy, using your resources. What I've mentioned before, using your resources purposefully, but not complacently. Using it for purposes, not for complacency. For example, the very many things that people take advantage of. The subsidized housing, the food stamp program, the sanctuary areas that are going on all over California. Those are things that are taken advantage of, but also at times they're used purposefully for the purposes of refugees or illegal immigrants who've immigrated from Mexico, but yet, of course, who most of them, unfortunately, were asked to leave because of the very crimes that they've committed. How they carry themselves badly, than having to serve themselves for the good of the country. I'm also a living proof, because I was born in Georgia. I grew up here. I did the right thing to being a U.S. citizen. And to all of my brothers and sisters who are from foreign countries, okay? You all can attest to that, because I went through that experience myself, having that transition, having that capability to really actually, yes, count that blessing, but also take advantage of the system purposefully, but not complacently and be taken advantage of. So today, I've really covered up a lot of good things. The walking ability, using your resources, being I was always optimistic and open-minded, and of also really being questionable about yourselves too. The one thing that can really carry yourself as a person when you're walking that walk, when you're carrying that walk of your capability is, you know, getting to know about yourself, diving into yourself about how you can face your demons. You're walking down a dark alleyway at a downtown hub and restaurant places that you see, and down this aisle, you see a demon coming inside of you, and you experience that aspect, but you tell that demon, hey, I own this territory. I own this capability. You can be like very bold and courageous and say, stay out of my way. Get behind me. Yeah, how about that? That's confidence right there. That's real confidence. That's real walking capability. And even, when you're hanging out with people that you like, your friends, your buddies, okay, your drinking buddies. You go out to a bar with your drinking buddies and you tell your buddies, hey, boys, drinks are on me tonight. It's up to you if you want to. It's up to you if you want to have me buy your drinks. But drinks are on me tonight. Just be like that. Showing that capability. Showing that appreciation. One thing you want to be able to show that appreciation. Hey, fellas, thanks for coming out tonight. Why don't I treat you guys a drink? A round. On me. Like that. Showing that appreciation and that kindness. Our walking capability, our best understanding of where we can be down the road. The very things that we also have our own focuses too. Getting that understanding to showing the very basic qualities of a person as we carry that walk, as we show that purpose and the drive that we have as significant people, showing up at our purposeful appointments, like if we have a doctor's appointment or if we have a job interview, you want to make sure you have that walk. You walk in with a posture. You shake your hand. You shake the hands with the interviewer. You're the interviewee as the interviewer is interviewing you, and smiling. You want to make sure you smile when you shake hands with the interviewer, because they look for that. One of the things they look for is posture, the smile, and the presentation. The presentation of what you're wearing, your dress, your clothes. Whether you're at a business building. I prefer like a suit and tie, be in that clout. Dress in that suit and tie. So you're professional, you're formal, you're respected that way. You're noticeable. For example, I wear a suit and tie on, very great functions that I've gone to before. Whether if it was a family function or if it was a previous job interview, I made sure I wore that suit and tie because I want to make sure I'm noticed. I'm attracted that way. People are drawn that way when they dress up formally, when they go into a celebrating function through work, or if it's within a family function, it's really best to dress up and show that purpose. Show that purpose and that significance, the presentation. One of the things that parents inside of themselves, they pick that up in a daughter or son when they dress up. So the attitude, dynamic behavior you can carry yourself with, the dynamic behavior that you can reflect and also apply to, using that applied knowledge to basically being, yes, mindful on how you carry your attitude, but also be honest of what you say. Also, holding to your guns, sticking to your guns, and not be, would you say, another term that I came across is not be, I want to say, derailed. Not be derailed with the influences from what the mediocre crowd wants to let you know, but also sticking to your guns in the very views and influences that you believed in, what you were brought up as. Go back to And again, I go back and talk about the aspects of level of energy, the confidence in that walking ability, but also